Hello and welcome back to another disaster movie. This time we're doing something slightly different. It's yet another Fox movie, meaning that, yes, spoiling in advance, Disney now owns this, and at least in Europe it is on Disney Plus. So once again, picture what you're about to see as a word in Kingdom Hearts, which, to be fair, I can see it more happening in this case, but you'll be able to judge. But it's also yet another movie from the magical year that is 1997, which, as I stated multiple times, is basically a treasure trove for very terrible movies. Not to mention, this was at the height in popularity of the disaster movie genre, as we've seen with stuff like Twisters or Roland Emmerich stuff, because this was roughly, I think, only by a few months. Yes, this came out in April, but it was almost in direct competition with another movie that came out in February of 1997, Dante's Peak. That one starred Pierce Brosnan, which I also seen, so we'll eventually do that too. But for this case, it is called just Volcano. Just Volcano. At least my country gave it a subtitle and called it Volcano Los Angeles 1997, which is a bit more stylized. But again, as we mentioned in stuff like Alien, only recently the whole oversimplistic title started to outstand its welcome. But anyway, what is this movie about? It's a what-if scenario that asks the question, what if the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles suddenly sprouted a volcano? And Tommy Lee Jones has to quickly mobilitate the entire city of LA in order to contain the damage.
Is this connected to San Andreas in any way, shape, or form?
All we had to do was follow the goddamn train, Dej.
Well, Dej, spoiler alert, but I can tell you one of the subplot is supposed to be a bit awkward because it's, riding the tie of the Rodney King trial. So, you'll be able to see. All right.
Yeah, let's not beat around the bush.
Let's venture into this whimsical Disney adventure, starting right before the Fox, the 20th Century Fox logo. This one is particular because at the end it swipes upward like it's fucking Star Wars, but you'll be able to see. Start in 3, 2, 1, click. So apparently I'm the only one of the group here that knows about this because I caught it a lot on TV back when it came out, so roughly around the year 2000, 2002.
Oh, it's one of those movies that you just watch when on TV when you're doing a chore or something.
Not really, but keep in mind, Edge, but I kind of had, a bit of a fascination with, even cheap sci-fi even back then, so something like the disaster movie was something that I was eating up.
I get it. The transition was going below the earth. Because volcanoes come from below
it's clever,
the earth.
Shut up.
So is that why out of all of us, I think you have pretty much picked pretty much most of the disaster films we've commentated on, which, to be fair, if you're going between the 90s to, like, the 2010s, disaster films really were everywhere and could be about just about anything.
Like I said, Joe, we will also eventually do something like Dante's Peak, which is its own brand of disaster movie. And in case you're wondering, how much did the brand paid off, both movies bombed at the box office. This one budget 90 million, recouping 122.8 because they wasted too much money on the special effects. For 1997, 90 million was a lot.
Yeah, I do have to. I granted it's too early. But man, the 90s really did have a lot of bad movies, huh?
Okay. Let's be fair. You can say that about literally any decade in film, like that it had a lot of bad movies. Now, if you're talking about a specific year, that's another thing. I'd say 1997 wasn't the worst year in film, but I'll admit...
Keith David's in this?
Yes, both Don Cheadle and Keith David. Don't worry, that we'll see him.
But yeah, for 1997, to be fair, we did have some standout films like, again, Men in Black, Liar Liar, Air Force One, Tomorrow... Okay, Tomorrow Never Dies might be a bit tricky, but I'd say it was good.
Yes, the score is done by Alan Silvestri. I don't really remember much of it, but I do think it was fine for the most part.
Okay. We have to remember Alan Silvestri was a big composer even before the MCU, but
Oh, this.
you know,
I need to actually break it down because I'm guessing neither you, Jovan, nor you, Dej, know about this. But in the early 90s, apparently the construction of a subway in LA was apparently a contentious thing, and this is actually reflecting that. Yeah, this movie is surprisingly political. I know, right? That fucking disaster movie.
Wow, we can't have disaster movies. No, I'm boring joke.
Also, if I recall correctly, this guy that is being interviewed is played by John Corbett, which is you mostly know for as being the handsome guy who gets together with the protagonist of My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
The whole
and we
city.
transitioned from an explosion to a pile of scrambled eggs
Girl,
being
she
made
looks
by Tommy
familiar.
Lee Jones.
The daughter, she's played by Gabby Hoffman, which obviously this was relatively early in her career. After this, she went to do a lot of movies and TV, but I don't really recognize a lot that she did. The most recent movie she's supposed to star in is the biopic about Bruce Springsteen.
In terms of people that this movie embarrassed, one of the screenwriters for this movie, Billy Ray, he referred to this movie as one of the embarrassments of his career and trying to use this movie's disaster as a metaphor for the social ills that were underground as a stupid idea.
For reference,
Okay.
his pedigree consisted of making 3 years before this, the movie Color of Night, which wasn't particularly great, if you ask me. And after this, he did some decent stuff or mediocre, but then he started doing stuff like The Hunger Games. In the same year, 2019, 3 bad movies: Gemini Man, Terminator Dark Fate, and Richard Jewell.
And he's
God
also going to be
damn.
doing
Did
the
he do that?
Hunger Games prequel book adaptation
Sunrise of
of.
the Reaping.
Yep.
I'm
That
guessing
interview where he
reason-
said this film was a big embarrassment, did he make that interview before or after Gemini Man came out?
No fucking clue.
probably, but I'm guessing before, but even still, like Gemini Man and Dark Fate, those aren't just bad movies. Those are movies that are like legendarily bad and relatively in recent memory. I'm not quite sure about the third one mentioned, but I'm
Richard
guessing that
Jewell
one's also
it's a
true.
biopic directed by Clint Eastwood, so similar to a lot of his movies that he did recently, it's very heavily Republican pandering.
Oh boy. Okay, you know what? Far be it from me to say we should never include politics in media, because if we run off of that mentality, then that
No.
will mean that every media will never be able to say anything. But I get the feeling that the politics for this movie aren't going to be inserted.
You'll be able to see, like I said in the intro, this was released not too long after the Rodney King trial, so one of the core themes is the relation between police and the African American community in LA.
So, will this be more or less embarrassing than when Billy Idol tried to do a quote-unquote homage to that in his Shock to the System music video?
I don't think I saw that, but again, you'll be able to judge because, believe it or not, it's one of the subplots where it doesn't get dropped by the disaster. It will be continued and will have a conclusion by the end.
Is this going to be one of those projects that attributes criminal behavior to the heat? Which, don't get me wrong, that's been a study, but somehow the volcano was caused by racism?
Not really. Again, if there's one thing that is consistent with a lot of the disaster movies is that this is just man versus nature in its pure form. It's just a disaster that happens without the intervention of man, and they just need to adapt to that. It's not like, say, in the core, which apparently the stopping of the core was actually caused by, the device built by the American. So
So you mentioned disaster movies with politics, but doesn't The Day After Tomorrow, like, isn't that like a message about global warming? Probably a poorly conceived one, but like,
because
wasn't
it's
that the
Roland
whole?
Emmerich, yeah.
Okay. Those are geopolitical politics, like politics tied to the environment. Like I think what Tio's talking about is more so,
Social commentary.
It's more of a case that since the movie was filmed, around 1997, and wants to talk a specific area, filmed around 1997, it's just not ignoring these themes. The thing that has been memed to death about, turning red, about, the supposed lack, of political commentary that is tied around its, time set. This is movies is kind of like the idea of what that if that happened. Whereas the case is, the events are just a background thing that serves to reinforce the bigger picture rather than to be the focus.
So, Dibs, in regards
Did
to
Tommy Lee Jones always look old?
Yes. Go on,
it's his
brother.
mystical power. So, in regards to this being referred to as a box office success, Dibs, is this because this was back before movies needed to make twice their budget to be considered a success?
Or is it a case where you're cool more on the home video market?
I don't know. All it says was its box office revenue.
Like, okay. So yeah, on a budget of 90 million, it made 122.8 million. Which is technically a profit, but nowadays a movie needs to make 2 or 2.5 times its budget to be considered a success. But I do recall there being a time where just profiting was enough to be a success, so maybe this was those times. The fires! Oh no!
It's become Two-Face.
I mean,
And a movie with Tommy Lee Jones. Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, at least this. I mean, it looks like he's dead, so this is gonna be the short.
Yeah,
lived
he's
incarnation
dead.
of Two-Face ever.
So it's one of those Elseworlds stories where they created the origin of the character. This is a different version of the character, but it's recognizable and then dies immediately.
We saw Don Cheadle earlier, but guess what other famous MCU figure got his start from this movie?
Kevin Feige, I forgot to mention, is one of the producers, or assistant producers in this.
Yeah, he was an assistant to Lawrence Schuler Donner, who was a producer.
Even if this and Daniel's Peak had both been considered box office failures, I'm not surprised that the trend of disaster films continued, because there was a certain disaster film which did come out in 1997 and made all the money in the world.
Armageddon.
No, Titanic.
Well, if you want to call that a disaster movie, sure, I guess.
It's officially listed as a disaster movie.
That feels very technicality, especially because it's based on a real life event. Also, it's Dante's Peak Drova, not Daniel.
Well, to be fair, just because something's based on a real life event doesn't disqualify it from being certain genres.
I'm not sure about that, because pretty much the entirety of the disaster movie genre over-exaggerated for that specific purpose to showcase what will happen, if an actual, worst possible scenario would happen.
I feel like it's gonna vary with the tone, but for whatever our stances on the matter is, Titanic's official genre listing is epic romantic disaster film, basically. So, yeah, I mean, okay, to be fair, it fits within the boundaries of disaster, natural element of which people are at the mercy of, essentially. But, yeah, Armageddon did also come out that year, didn't it?
It was like 1998, I think. I forgot which specific years, but it was around the time.
And, from what I understand, that was when Michael Bay was still on his A game. Not to be confused with the other film called Armageddon, which was a Hong Kong action sci-fi romance film directed by Gordon Chan.
He's not dead.
He's only mostly dead.
So there you go, Dwibs. We do have a Two-Face origin.
The Doctor is played by Jacqueline Kim, who, if I recall correctly, her starting role was in the Mighty Ducks movie. But she also played Sulu's daughter at the very beginning of Star Trek Generations. After this, she was in a two-parter for Xena Warrior Princess. She was in ER. Uh, and her most recent stuff was writer and producer for a movie in 2015 called Advantageous. Don Cheadle will basically play mission control for most of the movie, so thankfully will not be in direct danger.
I'm going to resist making the obvious War Machine jokes with that one.
Armored Wars, Kevin.
So in this case, the movie would really have to contrive itself to have the black guy die first.
Cute mouse.
That's going to be the movie's secret villain, the rats.
Yeah, so the rats are the ones that caused the volcano to rise.
Yes, with their leader, the Mole Man.
I knew those rats were up to no good.
You know, I joke, but I'm pretty sure that was literally a plan of the Mole Man at some point in, I think, the 80s or 70s.
If not, probably the Ultimate Universe.
But don't you know, Tia, the Ultimate Universe taught us that it's Magneto who causes all that stuff by shifting the magnetic poles, even though that's not really how it works. But yeah, no, looking back, it's interesting how there really was just about a disaster movie for everything.
Yeah.
Earthquakes, drilling to the Earth's center,
Meteors,
volcanoes, tidal waves.
Again, outside of Armageddon, there's also Deep Impact with Elijah Wood.
That too, yeah.
And of course, the king of the genre that still pertained because of how, how much of a mockbuster schlock it is, Sharknado.
You know, we should have seen a crossover between Volcano, The Core, and Twisters. All the elements combined.
You're asking Universal, Paramount, and Disney to actually get together, Jova. We're not doing miracles.
It would appear that the subways are very angry with us.
Okay.
Aww.
We can't. It's been a while since I've been Subway. It can't be the company saying you dare not go our restaurants.
Yeah, smart move.
Yeah, the steel door is gonna keep the heat away, right?
Well, apparently it did for the time being.
Again, it's the classic suspension of disbelief you have to take with these disaster movies.
Never underestimate California Steel.
Honestly, outside of Beast and the Fugitive, I don't really remember when, Tommy Lee Jones was being cast for big, runaway action scenes. Because trust me, this is just the appetizer. This movie will actually demand him running, up and down and all around.
It was a
Well,
We
this
want
film
to
came
make him
out.
like Tom Cruise.
Well, this film came out a few years after The Fugitive.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that level in LA Noire. Is it true that if you step 1 foot in it, you just sink right to the bottom?
I don't know about that. It might be possible.
Let's just say it's not recommended you get in them.
Yeah, don't go swimming in tar. That's such
Let me
an
put it like
easy
this.
statement to make.
Even if they don't kill and suffocate you, they will be a pain to get out of.
Sorry, are we just entering instead in the Dark Man movie where the villain wanted to have the whole real estate scheme, and then he turns to the camera and says, "Because I built it! I built it all!"
Hello and welcome to the headquarters of Direct-to-DVD CIA headquarters.
Yes, and nothing in the world is gonna stop us from achieving this.
Nothing whatsoever. We're gonna live happily ever after.
Oh, and this is because this is a disaster movie. Of course, a key important character is a pet dog. Gotta need to keep that from Independence Day.
So is this the late Anne Heche?
I think so. Let me check. No, actually, no. She's playing the geologist, which I don't think she has appeared yet.
Disneyland. Imagine.
I think the babysitter is played by instead Susie Essman. Oh, goody. She was in Crocodile Dundee 2 and the TMNT 2 movie Secret of Views before this. Apparently it's an extra, so I don't know which role specifically she was.
Wait, that bald guy, is that Eddie from Jurassic Park Lost World?
I think so. It kind of looks like him.
Oh, let me guess. Divorced, but they find their true love again in wake of a disaster.
Gotta need to have that, from Twister instead.
I think that's Anne Heche.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
She passed
There
away in
was this-
2022.
There really was this weird era where Hollywood wanted Tommy Lee Jones to be the face of action movies.
Thing is
I
that,
mean, don't
again,
get
when you think of Tommy Lee Jones, you think mostly, yes, potentially still someone who needs to perform some kind of action, but not super energetic. More like, imposing, stationary, and with a bit of a ham. Like Two-Face in Batman Forever.
Yeah, kinda. I feel like he also excels better as like the mentor or not quite main character,
Like
but
the
you
Sergeant
know, the
Drill
secondary there.
in Captain America: The First Avenger, for example.
Yes, he was perfect for that role.
And Heshe, she was Lois Lane in the Superman Doomsday animated movie we commented on. She's done a lot of movies.
Huh.
But I don't recognize a lot myself. She's there basically to be the nerd of the team because Derp, Tommy Lee Jones' character doesn't know anything about this confounded science. He's just like a police officer or something.
Okay, I'm surprised the blatant marketing is actually blurred out there, which probably means that that actually was just legit the store there for once.
The worst thing about it is that a lot of the terms that she's saying, the geologist, are relatively simple concepts. It makes you wonder, why doesn't Michael know about this stuff? It's not even something that you need to look out for yourself in documentaries. This is very basic.
Like, he borderline asked the question, what's magma?
What's magma?
Yeah, it's like the "What's a Paladin" line from Ultima 9. Some things,
Like,
you have to assume that you actually, absorbed via pop culture osmosis or something.
I'm guessing maybe it's a bit of a Solid Snake and Metal Gear Solid factor where just in case there's
Well,
somebody
that's
who
kind of
legit doesn't know
that's
that,
kind of what the
but
movie wants
still.
to do. Have a surrogate character for the audience. But I argue in some cases here it's a bit too, on the nose.
It's jarring when it's the main character who is a grown-ass man who should
Like,
probably know a
if
term
this
as
was
simple
his
as that.
daughter, I could understand it a bit more, but then again, we will need to have a reason for her to be here learning this information, so yeah. I don't know, maybe give him a young sidekick or something, someone who has just been hired, Leon Kennedy style.
First day on the job, Volcano.
I mean, he didn't say that whole man's
Romance?
work bit.
What? Okay. I'm pretty sure this came out before Titanic, so I can't say this is that point where everyone was trying to be Titanic. Oh, don't worry, we'll get to that era eventually, but... Huh.
Let me see if I can find who her assistant is played by.
I swear her assistant looks like she could be Lois Lane just minus the glasses and maybe a bit of a hair lengthener. Uh-oh, now the statues in the La Brea tar pits actually are sinking in.
Help me! Poor
No,
elephant.
not the elephant.
Not the statue!
Or
How has no one noticing it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just an attraction for the tourists.
Or they don't care.
To be fair, by the 2010s, yes, most people would probably think, oh, they added a new effect to the La Brea tar pits. Nice.
Oh wait, I figure we sell that book at work.
The conductor, I think instead is played by Valente Rodriguez, I think. I'll need to check. Because one of the conductors of the subway is actually played by a guy who became famous in like a sitcom or something.
Let me guess, something really bad is going to happen to that subway cart.
Wait a minute. I've seen Skyfall. I know exactly how this is gonna happen. The train's gonna come crashing down here through here.
Right as the guy says, but that is.
Basically, it seems that Amy and her assistant Rachel are checking out the storm sewer to investigate.
Rachel is played by Laurie Latham.
I've heard that name before.
No, really, she hasn't really done much outside of this. A bit more before, but radio plays and TV roles. This seems to be a role in major movie role. Alright, I know this from Prometheus. You just need to stick your hand in there for science.
Of course. Meanwhile, in Palmdale...
Well, close to Palmdale.
At 5:14 a.m. Christ, I get up early.
Don't you see, Dweebs? Nature waits for no one. And now it set its eyes on LA.
Why LA specifically?
Okay, to be
It's
fair,
trying to destroy Hollywood.
California does get a lot of earthquakes, most notably in San Francisco.
First of all, Dweebs, apparently the settlers back then thought it was a great idea to build, cities, parks, and, inhabited areas near an active, what's it called? A plate tectonic,
Fault line.
conjunction point, fault line, yes. It's literally to the point where there is a prediction that eventually, the one that is right under Yellowstone is gonna actually go boom, and it will be a big start and a big event. It's just that they don't know when it will happen.
You talk about Old Faithful?
I think that's the one. Even so, there's also the San Andreas, fault line. I'm sorry, Rachel. It looks like you're going straight to hell.
I didn't like that Sam Raimi movie.
It's that there's one thing that this movie wants to have with symbology, even if it's just coincidental, in visual. It's that
What?
It's that
Yes.
the rising lava is supposed to be a parallel for hell to take over.
How did that happen?
This is not how it works, Dweebs. It doesn't just... Sure, keep in mind, eruptions and gas leaks are technically bursts of pressure, which gets compressed to the point where it
But do they
bursts
just
out.
suck themselves back inwards?
No, it doesn't, as a matter of fact.
No. Okay, basically, the way a volcano works is, yes, it can generate the symptoms of an earthquake. It can arguably even cause earthquakes itself, but no, it does not suck all its lava, gas, and everything back in like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Alright, this is gonna be, if I recall correctly, Don Cheadle's main position for the rest of the movie. What is this channel? 1ID? LD?
Channel 10.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Keep your eyes on the road,
I was
dog.
about to say, eyes on the road. Also, forgot the name of the daughter. Like, how old are you? Keeping again the teddy bear. I mean,
Hey,
I don't
you're
think...
never too old to have a teddy bear.
Oh no, I get it, but I wonder if the movie is telling this as a sign of, oh, she has, a troubled upbringing because her mother died or something.
So John Cheeto's just basically gonna be the man in the chair.
Basically, yes. Keith David is gonna be instead more on the field.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been a while and no Keith David yet.
Because he's more involved with the police department, if I recall correctly. If not, with the firemen. Uh-oh. Looks like someone started to steam his kettle.
You'll believe a volcano can
I was going to say
roar.
something like that.
So Dej, out of curiosity, because you seem to be the TMNT most expert, did anyone, Shred or someone else, at any point try to smoke out the turtles by, aggressively bombing the sewers?
I think?
Which one?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yes. that's the answer.
Wouldn't be surprised if it happened at least once per iteration.
I mean, it just makes sense that, with the quantity that there is, it should happen at one point. But yeah, right after the first third, that's where the action starts. It's not gonna stop. Basically, the rest of the movie, it's basically non-stop action.
Beautiful.
Which, to be fair, is a
Okay.
common thing for disaster movies, but still. See, it's symbolic. It's the devil mask in the flames.
And that's and look, no, you're about to be crushed by a giant flaming stripper. It's just like my fortune cookie predicted.
Sounds to me we need to change restaurant.
Just to make sure, what's their job?
Okay.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, emergency department, rescue heroes, basically.
Apparently, Office of Emergency Management, which, yes, is an actual
So
thing.
basically,
Oh,
first
yeah.
responders.
Mm-hmm.
One of the producers is Neil H. Morris, who would go on to produce most of the Fast and Furious movies and the Sonic the Hedgehog films.
I haven't talked much about the
Interesting.
director, Mick Jackson, because honestly he did not do that much. The only other movie not worthy to be told from his short resume is the last one that he did in 2016 called Denial, which is based on a trial that happened against a Holocaust denier. Lovely.
So, I guess this all begs the question. The movie's called Volcano, so where is the supposed volcano?
You could say, Jova, in paraphrasing slightly Optimus Prime words, he is coming. I slowly put my
My
cigarette in my
God.
mouth in shock. Like, say, kids, this is back when you could smoke in close spaces.
Huh. One of the few times people regret actually making it to the train on time.
Of course, the emergency mechanism does not work. It's supposed to be mechanical,
Just
not
break
electrical.
just break a window then.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's why it doesn't work. But go on the other side.
I'm guessing there's rubble on the other side. It's ash.
Some kind of ash. As opposed to, the other tons of kinds of ash.
Mm.
Wow, how precise of a strike that has to be.
Don't worry, he's okay. The truck, maybe not.
What a disaster.
But yeah, that's the thing. They think it might be a gas line, but gas lines typically don't shoot meteors.
Of course, looting.
Yoink!
It's a oxygen tank. What do you need it for?
When the volcano takes over the world, I will be the one who can breathe.
Yeah, except it'll be too hot for you to be breathing.
Maybe he can
Wait
do
a
that.
minute.
That's not snow.
Oh yeah, leave the daughter inside the car. That's safe. You know, right in the middle of the road.
She'll be fine.
To his credit, there's like ash falling everywhere and whatnot, so arguably she is safer in that car as far as he knows.
Wait, what's trouble keeping people warm at the minute?
Yeah. Oh, so it really is roaring.
You see, we had a tornado roar like a lion in Twister. Now we have the volcano roar.
You see what I mean? We need to have this crossover with Twister. It's genius.
This movie really, really wants to paint the idea that this volcano is just straight up evil.
Maybe it's Chernobog signaling his arrival.
He went there all the way there from fucking Eastern Europe. It's like Krampus.
I mean, hey, he traveled to pretty much the world of all ends in Kingdom Hearts, so why not?
And that's basically where all the budget went basically. CGI for the lava.
So it appears that the volcano has been formed around the Brea tar
Yeah,
pits.
right under it.
Basically, for those who don't know, volcanoes can be very much created by earthquakes, in which case a plate moving on top of another in convergence, essentially, consolidating a lot of heat and magma. And yeah,
for making a gross equivalent, it's literally the Earth crust equivalent of a zit. When it pops, yeah, it's not pleasant.
pretty much. And oh boy, it shows the absolute worst place to form because with the La Brea tar pits, there's plenty of tar, which means, well, more burning.
Yeah, smart
Okay,
girl.
yeah, it's no longer the safest place.
Wanna run? This movie also flip-flops a
Yeah.
bit with the convention smoke mansion trope, as in there are plenty of cases where standing close to the lava is dangerous because of a heat, while in other cases it won't.
Realistically, which one is worse? Is standing close to lava actually dangerous?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, yes.
You can have a safe distance, but the geologists do need to tell you precisely, how close it has to be.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that reaction there was terrible. Ah, help! My leg is burning. You should be screaming that in pain, like, Dad, my leg's burning!
Poor
I guess
child.
she's just so frightened that she forgot to.
Yeah, for
react
example,
that way.
right now both of them should be having an extreme, case of heat.
Sorry, Tom.
Whee!
He has.
Tommy Lee Jones having to perform a heroic jump.
The funny thing is, it's technically just a few feet he jumped, but the slow motion made it look heroic.
Well,
No,
we know
not the car.
Does the insurance covers that?
What about volcano insurance?
Look, Not the fireman, boy!
Fireman.
Well, I mean, was the other guy able to do anything?
No.
What have we become?
Molten magma, apparently.
Yeah, basically.
Anyway, here's that same shot of the magma.
They're
No
basically trying to save
smoking.
as much.
Okay.
They're having a Hieronymus Porsche, exhibit at the museum there.
Well,
Also, that tacos.
Michael Bay
That
explosion.
tacos truck apparently was filled with oily rags and gasoline, I guess.
Well, it was filled with propane gas, it said.
Oh, to be so
Mhm.
so it was actually properly refilled by Hank Hill. Okay. I kind of want to see instead a crossover between King of the Hill and this. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh god, this seems like just the kind of thing you could see on King of the Hill.
Hey,
Like,
both are
it's-
Fox stuff, so Disney owns. So
And now it seems father and daughter must part ways for now.
don't worry, there will be also a payoff by the end of the movie to that. It's clearly
Just how
yeah, the daughter of the Tommy Lee Jones character is put there just so we can have that kind of emotionally manipulating degree for the movie to say, see, he's such a great character because he has a daughter and he cares so much about her and wants to. You cannot save the world just for being a good person or saving the city. No, you have to do it for his daughter.
Oh, for
Okay.
God's sake, this is going to be another one of those movies, is it?
okay, to her credit, I think it's implied that he's all she has. Dad, just how Mom died! Yes, that's why I must avenge her against this volcano, honey.
Yes, because her mom died in a volcano.
Okay, I'm going to assume it won't go to the same lengths, but it always sends me that Twister actually did try to play it up like tornadoes are outright villains who will kill your parents and everything.
Yeah, what I mean by one of those movies is we have the annoying child character who just pops around everywhere when she shouldn't and just acts really annoying, like, Dad!
Joe,
Dad!
Okay, to her
Joe, if
credit,
that actually happened, man, we'd get something like Jaws, where sharks were hunted down because of that movie.
Stanley Alvini off Will she live? Just what the news reporter.
Just in
You
case
said
lives.
movie. You just said this. You just said the same sentence 3 times in 5 seconds.
Okay, seriously, these fucking, lava pellets, from by the volcano must have the precision of God knows. Oh no, what about Billy?
Is
Okay,
the lava
okay.
sentient?
That's the thing, that no, it's supposed to be a natural disaster, but in other cases, the movie almost paints it like it's the fucking Firebird from Fantasia 2000.
Again,
No,
Twister had
someone
Yeah,
has to
I
save
saw-
Billy.
I saw Independence Day.
Yep.
Billy will live.
Yeah.
Traffic here is pretty calm for the scene of a volcanic eruption at the minute.
does this really need its own subplot?
Apparently.
Jova,
don't-
Jova. This is the 90s, where every annoying kid character has this kind of plot.
Trust me, Dwibs, that was not a thing that started in the 90s.
At the very least, the kid in the Lost World Jurassic Park managed to be competent and not annoying.
I mean, it's not even that
What,
this girl's annoying.
do you mean the one with that stupid acrobatic scene?
At least she did stuff and she not really particularly brag about it.
Like, okay, it's not even that the girl in this movie is annoying, it's just that, I'm sorry, like, I feel like the movie would pretty much be the same with or without Tommy Lee Jones being a father or whatnot, essentially, unless it turns out that, oh, the volcano is actually about to do something that will cause his daughter to die.
You'll
so
see, Drova.
gotta
Again,
stop
movie's
it.
not over yet. We're only halfway through.
Okay, I have seen a Sharknado be destroyed. I've seen a Twister have to be fought. I've seen the flipping end of the world by flooding be combated. How are these madmen going to fight a volcano?
Wasn't there that Jason
Jason,
Statham movie with the shark? Was it called The Meg?
Yeah, the manga. Yes, babes.
Yeah.
Well, Jova, with how questionable some of the CGI has been, it can be accomplished just by using Control-Alt-Delete.
I'm sorry. What was that bit? No, look at it! Now take cover!
The idea supposedly is that you need to watch out for the trajectory and then move at the last second. But I don't know. First of all,
Did you say we have a bomb?
As established, these particular, lava bombs, it was called, tend to be super precise for no adequate reason. Also, it? Because Hieronymus Bosch painted, art of the end of the world. It's
Now, to be fair,
symbolic.
volcanic, or in this case, lava bombs are an actual thing that volcanoes do shoot out.
Oh,
so...
sure, Jova, but remember, what I'm questioning is that the precision that this movie actually has for these projectiles is super accurate. Like, exactly the specific car that they need to hit.
Have you seen a lava bomb launch? I guess you wouldn't know, now would you?
Anyway, this movie got mixed reception from critics. 49%.
I can't imagine why.
49% gave a positive review. The website's critical consensus on Rotten Tomato reads, Volcanoes, prodigious pyrotechnics, and Tommy Lee Jones' crotchety sneers at lava aren't quite enough to save this routine disaster film. Like, damn, to be called a routine disaster film by 97.
Let's murder the tires, Jesus.
So, actually, since you've watched a bunch of disaster movies, would you say that there's one that seems to be pretty accurate?
Oh.
I was like, oh yeah, we had to exaggerate things, but like the science behind how it works is basically like that.
Maybe Dante's Peak, I guess, but even then I would struggle to call it like that.
I want to be a bit fair and say sometimes it varies since the science at the time was much different than what we know now in some cases. So there are some cases where arguably for the time they were the most accurate that they thought they'd be before we got updates. It's a tricky
of course,
topic.
the boundary falls specifically so we can trap them.
Oh no, how do we get out of this now?
Quick, Tommy, you must jump out of fire.
No, we're gonna do something even stupider. Look. So, maybe we're gonna use the crane, jump over it, and then actually use it as a ledge.
They're gonna smush the bus with the crane, aren't they?
No, I was saying, maybe just, pull yourself up and jump on top of a bus so you can actually be pulled down, right?
Whee!
Of course.
Of course it is.
And it's going for the upper direction!
God!
Going to be and the guy is about to get his
I was gonna
cross
say,
flame.
she even said, "Can we just swing the other way?"
This is like that scene.
Jesus Christ!
This is like that scene in Catwoman on the Ferris wheel where every single thing starts to go wrong at the same time. Ow.
Another happy landing.
Well, not for the guy who has his legs on fire.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Don't worry, good old fire extinguisher.
So aren't anyone wearing masks?
Okay, Ju.
No,
okay,
there's ash in the air. Come on.
Okay,
I don't know what to tell you.
To Tommy and Amy's credit, they were just caught in the middle of it. But the firemen not wearing masks, that's weird.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about this bit. Honestly.
Oh, don't worry, the volcano didn't.
Oh, that's ominous. Well, I've seen enough Resident Evil 2 compilation videos to know where this is going.
What, Resident Evil 2 as a volcano?
Basically, explosion, train, tunnel, heat. You get the idea.
Well, in that game it went a bit fast with the explosion, I mean.
But you get what I mean, though. Like, I can tell where they're going with this.
If anything, what we need to do is to have Chris Redfield punching a boulder to create a passage through the lava.
I can definitely tell that a lot of money must have gone into the effects, because, Jesus Christ, the majority of this movie sees ash falling.
I get the idea
the wedding gowns!
I get the idea the ash was the more simple thing to do, while instead it was the CGI lava, the more, want to coordinate, especially with the flaming stuff. She just had to say we're dealing with very determined stuff.
Okay. To be fair, she could mean determined as in it's determined in the sense that it is set the way in physics, which, fair enough. But yes, given how the volcano has acted in this movie, I really do get the feeling they were trying to have their cake and eat it. Like, oh, we're not going to outright say that this volcano is evil, but it totally is, and it's being controlled by Satan.
The very least, if this was a 70s movie, someone, in the control room will ponder if it's a Russian super weapon instead.
If someone made 10 years earlier.
Oh boy, here we go. Say the line, Dej.
Time is a flat circle.
Yay!
So Christopher Nolan saw this. I mean, like, I could use this for The Dark Knight Rising.
Honestly, Deji, I think this is less stupid than The Dark Knight Rises.
No, just sending every Gotham police officer into the sewer. It's like, what was your plan, dog?
It's really stupid. I think the reason people are incredibly shocked by that is that, from my knowledge, Christopher Nolan doesn't typically do blatantly dumb stuff.
Well, remember, Dark Knight Rises was plagued by a lot of development, issues. For once,
Yeah.
Heath Ledger
That
was
is
supposed to
true.
return, but what happened?
Yeah, they didn't want to recast, obviously.
Well, crud.
Then he was also trying to adapt a bunch of stories at the same time, like No Man's Land.
And Nightfall.
Yeah. Then again, I guess I need to blame him as a director for, choosing the direction in which Tom Hardy was supposed to act.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking with that one.
All this happened in only 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's a very,
Believe it or not.
fast kind of, emergency thing.
There are units that are basically made with that in mind, so this does make sense.
It's a basketball.
What are you doing?
She's trying to have a point, but it still comes off as a bit goofy. Not to
You're
mention,
committing looting.
don't you see, Dweebs? You see in a second this, and in this case, it's for science.
Yep.
The sphere of the ball goes round around all day long because there was lava on the street. Here's Kid David.
So, 1 hour in.
Cue the Full House theme.
Like, it wouldn't be the worst thing, but from what I've noticed, he does have pretty high billing.
Oh, in case you're wondering about typecasting, I don't remember the name of the actor, but the asshole cop is played by an actor who gets basically typecast as asshole-ish cops in almost every single crime, procedural TV series. CSI, NCIS, Criminal Minds, and so on.
So, is there a comeuppance volcanic bomb with his name on it then?
Well, you'll need to see the movie. Oh, speaking instead of weird comeuppance, watch this. Epic slow-mo running away as the train melts. This is something, by the way, Dante Speak also has a similar scene, going on, just with acid instead of, lava.
Okay, is Dante's Peak a bit of a Aladdin and the Thief and the Cobbler case where the two movies may
I
be
don't
mooching
know.
off of each other?
I don't have information to
Just
support
keep
that
mashing
claiming.
X for this quick time event.
No, yeah, don't you see, no, Dej, what you need to do is to keep the analog stick pressed forward, but the character will move slowly because it is supposed to be immersive.
Oh, yep. No disaster movie is complete without a Bible quote, of course.
Of course. Unfortunately, maybe Stan can just throw the body and then jump himself.
No, he can't because
The plot demands drama.
this is his redemption for being... Was he an asshole?
Splosh.
No!
And the best part
What was the plan?
Is he stupid?
Oh.
As you're about to see,
Wait.
he's literally about to be consumed Terminator style.
Dun, 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 dun.
Thumbs up. Oh, yeah,
He
he
went to
did
the
okay.
Tail,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
made me watch a
You really
comedy.
wanted to reenact that bit.
Sorry, Dad.
Like, yeah, I think it's safe enough to deem that this is one of those movies that is. This is strictly popcorn movie energy. Like, you won't take it seriously, but by God, if you just turn your brain off, you can have fun, enjoy the action, and laughs.
I mean,
Lots and
that can be
lots of
said to a lot of
laughs.
disaster movies, like Independence Day.
So we got, in the span of a few seconds, a Bible quote, a Terminator 2 reference, and a man who apparently didn't have the strength to jump with a guy, but did have the strength to throw him with his arms while he was sinking into lava. What?
Alright,
Uh,
here's what we're gonna do.
He's a magician, I guess.
Here's Tommy Lee Jones's character's brilliant plan to use a bunch of New Jersey to literally contain the lava flow. Like, sure,
It's an idea.
the New Jerseys are pure stone and concrete, so something that doesn't really melt like this. But I don't know, man.
Okay, now, apparently the reason for Stan sacrificing himself was because he apparently pushed back on Mike's plan to halt the subway lines near the location of the earthquake, so I guess that was him atoning. I'll be honest, it was kind of such a blink and missing, I legit forgot that it was supposedly technically his fault. Oh, there's our F word. What was this rated?
I think R, because there is some degree of violence and a couple of swear. So basically, here's
Yeah,
Tommy
make
Lee Jones'
sure.
brilliant plan. Just use the New Jersey in a semicircular, half-circle way in order to contain the lava.
His plan is to
Oh,
build a
no.
wall.
Kinda,
And
sorta.
make
But I don't know, I don't think that's kinda how it works. So not to mention, they're trying to pass with the idea that the lava flow is contained between the buildings of the street. And unlike, first of all, aren't there alleys in which the lava can flow, laterally? And other than that, can't the lava just, pass through the buildings and come out from the sides?
Well, you see, Teo. Well, you see. Shut up.
Yeah, I figured.
I need to know what was the
Alright.
development of this movie.
Alright,
Like.
epic building montage. The gritty version of Bob the Builder they don't want you to see.
Teo, how do I
Honestly,
tell you this? But we are actually getting a Bob the Builder, live action Bob the Builder reboot.
beautiful.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
I'm just
the
trying to think of off the cuff now a rendition of the Bob the Builder theme song with volcano terminology.
Anyway, the movie was actually rated PG-13, so yeah, that's probably the one F word we're gonna get there.
Weird, because the death scenes have been relatively brutal so far.
Ah, well, you see, Tio, most of it has consisted of people being dissolved by lava, so typically it's okay so long as we don't get the uber gory details.
Fair enough. Oh, here we go. Here's the payoff to the subplot.
What?
Just roll with it.
But maybe they can
Maybe
work
in times of
together.
need, people can set aside their difference and actually work for the good of everyone.
Okay. It's corny.
I'm so
but
glad that a volcano defeated police brutality and it never cropped up again. Incidentally, it did
Okay.
crop up
Wow,
again.
this volcano, in terms of trying to stop racism, the volcanoes are giving Cody Rhodes some competition.
What?
Long
Do I want to
story.
know?
I guess a
Do I
wrestling
want to
plot
know?
line.
A wrestling plotline trying to tackle racism. That sounds like that could either.
Unintentionally. And
Well, let me
unfortunately,
guess,
it ruined his tenure at AEW.
I love it. We just dumped a bunch of, people on this poor girl who has no medical expertise.
I think it's more so they want her to just comfort the girl as opposed to heal her.
And they dump another
I think I-
one. Poor fucking child.
So basically,
Why,
the plan
off the cuff.
So basically, the plan more or less amounts to let's try and diverge the lava enough so that it'll be forced to cool.
Basically. Just ask Sora to cast the Blitzaga multiple times. It will be fine.
I
You know-
No,
the
it's
rest of
magic,
it.
so it wouldn't work with this Sora. You know, the funny thing about the whole Cody Rhodes racism storyline is like, he's Cuban.
Oh.
So I was like, okay.
And he tried to make
Oh,
out that he was like the
Dieseldon.
first person to ever have a child of a black person.
Oh my god.
Clearly is.
They have the small child having to do a metaphor, a parallel to that and says, oh, but the lava beats everything. Get it? Christ.
Okay. Now these guys are definitely wearing masks.
Oh, they are the firemen. The firemen
Is that
act
water gonna help much?
No, they've been spraying that shit for like 30 minutes for nothing, if you ask me.
Basically, it buys them
Just wasting
seconds.
water.
As the geologist said, they're gonna need it for now, basically.
Pretty much, it won't stop the volcano, but and I do mean every little bit, will help. As small as it will.
Alright, here we go. Moment of truth. Hold your water!
Yes. Now the firemen are the cops in town. My God.
I mean, I will say, yeah, like I said, the score is not super memorable, but you can tell that Alan Silvestri is trying.
I feel like I don't think I've ever seen a movie where Alan Silvestri half-assed it.
I can argue Tomb Raider Cradle of Life.
I love it. The lava physically pushes slightly back to New Jersey.
Push! Wait, what are you calling them?
Aren't we called it like that? New Jerseys? At least that's what we call it in my country.
Yeah, because New Jersey's a state, so I'm just
Yes, but I think... Okay, let me check properly. Yeah, the English term is Jersey Barrier, Dej.
Okay.
Oh god, this effect is terrible.
Has the cavalry come?
Jesus.
The CGI
Oh my
cavalry?
Don't worry, guys. The toy helicopters will save the day.
Here we go.
Okay, that's actually cool.
Yeah. And California does have a dedicated fire and rescue service.
What? Does that across the whole state?
There's a lot of
Unfortunately, forest fires are a problem for California.
there has been, a major arson, the beginning of this year, if I recall correctly. So
Basically, these have special water which would be used to contain stuff like this, so this actually is legit for the most part. Yes, does indeed make them the cavalry for this.
I mean, this movie, when you really get down to it, is basically a gigantic commercial of rescue services for the state.
Which,
Well, I will say that unlike the Bayformers movies with the U.S. military, this feels a bit more graceful.
Yes.
But wait a minute, we're not just done yet. Somehow, the geologists decided to go back into the ground, to check on the subway system.
It looks like something's a bit wrong here.
Somehow,
More than-
Palpatine returns.
Somehow the volcano returned.
I swear to God, if the sequel hook for this was a shot of Old Faithful.
No, surprisingly, this does not have a sequel bait.
Huh.
No. You see, the sequel would be a bigger volcano, so the old volcano has to team up with the rest.
Yeah, Volcano 2, the volcanoing. Or volcanoing ardor.
You hear that, guys? The end is in sight.
We saved the world.
Well, we've got under half an hour left.
I love it. Keith David saying, "You think we just beat this bastard?" I mean, is this the weirdest thing Keith David had done aside from The Thing at this point in his career?
I mean, at this point, no, but he was in a lot of bad horror movies, like Smiley.
Welcome
Is that
to
Jeremy
hell,
Thompson?
motherfucker.
I don't know.
I swear that cop
See?
looks like Tom Cruise.
The lava flow as I finally defeated racism. Rejoice.
Okay.
Again,
okay.
it context means a lot. Remember, this was the period of like I said, after the Ronnie King's trials. So while there was this going on, the idea of the movie is that a bigger emergency will actually have people put aside their differences to for a common cause, which is kind of noble. It's just sad that this is not how things turned out. I'm starting to wonder, Joba, with each passing year, if we really are heading to, the future of the Purge, where we're just 1 inch from killing each other.
God help us if we turn that movie into a documentary.
Oh yeah, this is kind of topical because Mount St. Helens was not too far from also from when this movie was made. I was mentioning Fantasia 2000, the volcano in that movie is supposed to be another parallel to the St. Helens eruption. Oh yeah, just lower the camera. I'm sure it will be fine.
This is kind of what we had to make do back in the old days, and God, I feel weird calling the 90s the old days.
It's so bulky. Again, bulky camera and everything. These days you would think, well, just use a drone. Okay, here's another Bible quote.
Okay, to be fair, I'm not even with the whole fault line stuff. I'm not sure they could have predicted a volcano appearing.
Especially because it wasn't in the right location for them to guess.
Pretty much. It wasn't like they'd really have much reason to check around the laboratory.
Uh-oh.
All the same.
Mankind paid for its arrogance for something it couldn't possibly see coming. Speaking of not seeing anything coming.
Well, they did
Round
see it
two,
coming.
assholes! I'm back now, better than
I
ever.
love it, and once again it just revolved itself.
And now we've got the play pit from that Tony Hawk level in Pro Skater 3.
do you
Bounty level?
do you go to
flames.
hell in that game or something? I don't think there's a
No,
Guitar
no,
Hero
you're-
game where you go to hell.
One of the Pro Skater 3 levels is when you're in a foundry.
Ah, okay. Ah, yes, the Spark Factory.
So first you don't know what magma is, but now you know what erupt means.
I was just pretending to be dumb to make them look smart.
You would be the perfect teacher to this guy called Ash Ketchum. The guy doesn't even know what the word transcendence means.
He was smart enough to know that water conducts electricity.
Well, the red line just happens to be where Kelly is.
Oh no, what a disaster! Not just, again, yes, it's also about where the entire refugee camp, all the people that are getting treated is, but that's where the daughter is! See what I mean?
And the prom's
about,
tomorrow!
Time and time again, Hollywood thinks they're so clever into, building up these easily to construct families for the protagonists so they can have a quick, cheap motivation for them.
No, no. Moses was a proud and true Beyblader who could have rerouted it, I'll have you know. I still
That's
love
basically the Metal Series' legacy at this point.
I mean, Dej, come on. You gotta give him credit. That was a way to keep them in it. Look at Yu-Gi-Oh! It implies that ancient Egypt created the games, essentially. Beyblade took a look at that and went, guys, we gotta go a step further. We're inserting ourselves into real life here. Honestly, it's only a matter of time until one of these games implies that it caused the Titanic and Hindenburg disasters.
Basically,
Oh.
what Tommy Jones character
Eureka!
plan is
Is that going to be another one of those?
rerouting, yes.
Rerouted to the ocean.
Genius!
Is that going to be another one of those hack disaster movies? How a volcano sank the Titanic?
That's something that the
Why
Sci-Fi
not?
Channel will do.
Dwibs, let me just tell you, the Asylum made not one, but apparently two mockbuster sequels to James Cameron's Titanic, one of which apparently is a horror movie.
Ha.
So,
But the story of the Titanic is horrific enough.
Not enough, apparently.
No. Apparently there's a movie called, well, okay, you already know about probably Titanic 2, but in 2022, Asylum made a sequel to Titanic 2 called Titanic 666, also known as Titanic Rises and Titanic 3, essentially, which deals with, apparently, a third Titanic being made, and the ghosts of the original Titanic coming back and being evil.
This is the stupidest thing you've ever told me.
What? Did they throw the captain in there as well?
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
thing, there's still that version, that animated version, that I don't even know if it was still realized, that instead says that the Titanic was sunk by Napoleon, who piloted personally the iceberg because of his revenge against the world. And the Titanic managed to actually, get unsunk by the local animals plugging the leak with a piece of chewing gum. Not even kidding.
The captain was born in one of my local towns, and that's just ugh.
Alright,
Okay,
here's the payoff. You remember that old super new building, that was mentioned at the beginning and said, oh, nothing is gonna stop us from having this apartment? Now Tommy Jones thinks that demolishing it will actually, properly build as a dam, will properly divert, the lava flow.
That guy who wanted it to be a home, was that the same, I guess, asshole who sacrificed himself?
No, it was, I think the mayor, or at least a businessman, the guy who built the palace, basically.
He was in love
kind of
with
disappeared out of the
Jade.
movie.
Right, yeah. That's why I was wondering if he was also Stan or something, because...
Oh, of course. Trust me, it gets even more, convoluted. Sorry, contrived, my bad. Basically, this last piece of the movie serves to not just, properly redirect the lava flow, but to make sure that the daughter is fine.
Okay. To his credit, it's not like he's prioritizing her over everyone else, but
Give it a second,
I'll be
Jova.
fair.
Again, I don't remember when it will happen specifically. Oh, here we go. Remember the one kid, the stupid one kid that was assigned to her? He, for some reason, decided to run away, and now she has to actually find it.
You had one job.
Try to guess where the tube will end up being.
Find the
Don't tell me,
volcano.
right on the red line.
Jova is closer.
Oh god, they're going to be at the building. They're going to blow up.
Have you seen my little girl? She's called Cheryl.
With all due respect, honey, it seems like he is kind of suicidal given that he ran away from a perfectly safe place. And I get it, he's a kid, but I'm sorry, like...
And the military just missed her actually going out on her own. These people suck at their job.
Uh-oh, they're in the building.
Right, not in the place where it's getting bombed, but right close to that.
What is this? Die Hard with a vengeance?
Yeah.
How did she lose him anyway?
He just ran away on his own.
Ready?
And just like, again, I'm kind of to agree with Joe and Dej. Sorry, this fucking kid has the preservation instinct of a lemming. I'm sorry.
Like, what reason even? And okay. That's one thing, but the fact that he managed to sneak past everyone too means that he must have intentionally wanted this.
Is it? Wait. Is this movie trying to deal with the ramifications of a suicidal kid or something?
Oh, there's her boyfriend.
Yeah, he's the boyfriend of the doctor.
I guess the one who made the building and everything.
Yeah, it was also typecast as also the hunk for Sex and the City 2 movie.
And here he's, I guess, a rich CEO asshole or something.
Basically.
Oh.
I mean, he still has a better haircut than in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but he gave it a mullet. There is hideous.
I will say, some of the characters legit just feel like they're filling out a checklist. Like, oh, we gotta have the asshole who redeems himself.
Again,
oh, we gotta have the asshole
like
who's just here to be an asshole.
Traditional, disaster movie. The only major difference compared to a Roland Emmerich one is that there are far less ethnic stereotypes. So we don't have the
That is
token gay
true.
character, for example.
So, I wonder, what do you think puts the line between a typical alien invasion movie and a disaster movie? Because if I recall correctly, Independence Day
The
is
amount of
counted as a
damage they cause.
disaster movie.
Also, I feel like
Okay.
people are usually smarter in an alien movie.
Depends, Dej. The entire point of Mars Attacks is to satirize, that kind of scenario and to showcase how incompetent we are.
And then there's the
I mean,
latest
weren't the
rendition.
Martians also incompetent as well?
No, they were very smart and close to victory. They just got defeated by, I forgot which specific singer's song, which was basically the equivalent of, ultrasound for them.
See, he couldn't say the full F word because we already said it once in a PG-13 movie. That rule has
What rating did
always
this one
been
get in
weird
the
to
UK?
me.
Let me see.
I've always found that rule weird. Like, they've said it already, so what difference does it make
Again,
if
another
somebody says it
precision
again?
bullet! This fucking volcano is the marksmanship of Legolas, holy shit.
No, he's as much of a marksman as Bullseye.
Oh, the
damn,
Colin
at this
Farrell
point,
version, another Fox movie.
like, shoot, at this
12,
point,
the PG-13 equivalent.
Yeah, I was about to think. Oh my fucking god, this fucking child. Why?
kid, just why? Yeah.
Like, if it's a thing I say, oh, I want to find my mommy and everything, I kinda get it, but she's not in that general direction, I'm sorry.
And it's not even like the kid has spoken about. Well, I guess he did technically
No,
speak up. About,
barely.
oh, no.
He's literally just a plot device, a tool.
Damn. Yeah, I can see why. Okay, the movie has like these big action sequences where you can just enjoy the action, but man, when you actually
And
analyze
look
the
at this,
story,
these three demolition team people are gonna sacrifice themselves, even though two of them can actually go away. They just were to stay with the other for the sake of, camaraderie. What is this movie?
I guess I really just want to show. And somehow that kid is still alive.
And not even phased by the explosion, just mildly putting his hands there. Like, see what I mean of how fucking contrived this is?
The zoom in! Holy cow, the zoom into his face.
Alright, time to Tom Cruise this shit.
Oh god, that lava looks like it came right out of a Warner Brothers movie. The money shot. You know, you could try and run, kids. Just saying.
It's like I said,
Kelly.
Trevor, this is the time when films were full of shit like this.
Kelly, you can literally just pick the kid up and run. I'm pretty sure he doesn't weigh that much.
How can you see that far?
She's Legolas, don't you know?
That or she's Superwoman, in
What
which
do you
case,
see? What do your allies see? These screen effects in this bunch of seconds was just awful all over the place. Jesus.
I'm sorry, just the way they tried to frame it in a slow motion way, but the frame rate was too quick, so it looked herky-jerky. It's just, wow. The plan worked, but at what cost?
But will it work through and through? Is Mike still alive? Yeah, that's the more important question. I love how, despite the fact that the area was filled with the dust and smoke, no one was coughing. Especially since we had no masks.
Oh, look, Holly Hills got dealt with. That's nice. Through Wilshire. I love it. While this tension's going on, they still gotta keep up a tension of, will the plan actually work?
Yeah, basically. I love it.
Hooray,
They've
he
been
saved the
just.
two idiot kids.
I mean, I will say that the daughter, at the very least, was trying to save the situation because the kid was responsibility. That fucking child is so grounded. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yes, he is.
And now stock
Into
footage.
the oceans.
Wonder if they just lifted bits from the Mount St. Helens interruption.
If it's usually a footage of lava going to the ocean, they typically get those from Hawaii. It's basically a Tuesday for them.
And
Oh,
Don Cheadle fell asleep.
Well, he had to stay awake the entire night, so...
Wait, only 100 people died?
That dreams.
But-
The rescue heroes were just that good.
You should join the OEM.
Also, this fucking child is used for the cheap metaphors. It's like, look, everyone is covered in ash. They look the same. There's no color distinction. My God, these movies' messages.
I mean,
Man,
again,
come on,
I
even
wanna
David
be,
Cage was more subtle.
like, I want to be fair,
okay,
optimism and looking to the future, but
Brought to you by one of the writers of Gemini Man and Terminator Dark Fate.
oh Jesus, that's what I will say. This the whole ties to the Rodney King thing just feels so out of left field. Like, sure, it's a factor, but it's like the whale hunting in the Titanic animated movie brought to us by Italy and Korea.
Yeah, North
Essentially,
Korea
where
specifically.
it's about. I kid you not, Dej. In that movie, it starts about being about the Titanic, but ultimately it comes down to a message about whale conservation.
What?
One day I will show you that. It's very weird.
That thing got a television series of all things.
No, that's fine.
Mono TV was specialized in doing that. Not even that, Dej. They even built their own cinematic universe, believe it or not.
Yes, one of which has.
Don't worry, the dog survived too!
Let's go.
That is literally.
Max will
That
leave.
dog is literally. Yeah, and that dog literally looks like Boomer from Independence Day, so they had 2 bouts where we have to wonder if the dog will make it.
You see, Independence Day had a situation, we make it double. Isn't this cool?
Also, Dej, I kid you not, with Mono TV Cinematic Universe, they have Simba, yes, Lion King Simba, having to fight Shere Khan from Jungle Book at some point, and then later, after establishing himself as King of the Jungle, going on to participate in the World Cup.
The football/soccer World Cup, basically.
It's... I do have to wonder what special influence was used for making that.
You can get used to a volcano forming in Los Angeles.
I mean, it worked for a while, I guess. So I think that George Carlin was saying in one of his shows, ask those people who built, houses near volcanoes in Hawaii, and then they wonder why they had lava in their living room.
You just know that the city of Los Angeles is going to work in that volcano to the La Brea Tar Pits attraction. Oh, Randy Newman? Okay.
I love LA.
There you go. The newly christened Mount Wilshire. Active with a K.
Why is it spacing out active?
No fucking clue. No post-credit scene, so Tommy Lee Jones will not be invited to the Fantastic Four initiative. Final thoughts? Dweebs?
Yeah, dude, you
That
go
was
first.
A movie.
also, yeah. Before I start, Disney Plus is recommending to me the Disney Pixar short Lava.
I mean, to be fair, Dweebs, in this case I argue it kind of makes sense.
Once again, a sentient volcano.
Yeah, those are the funniest things for me when I'm watching a film from a streaming service. The film recommendations that are both hilariously fitting and unfitting. But this is a really bizarre movie. It's got a load of the typical disaster film tropes, the outlandish premise, the actors who are trying really hard for a film like this, the bombastic score, the really, really, really stupid children, and well, some really ropey CGI effects. Like the practical ones are solid, mostly, but the CGI ones, they could do with some work. Although, to be honest, considering how really just kind of bang average the film is overall, coupled with the film bombing at the box office, despite what Wikipedia will tell you, I'm not surprised that this was the last major film the director did. After this, he just did like smaller scale films and TV.
Like I said, the last major one that he handled was that 2016 movie about the biopic about that person who brought to court Holocaust denial.
Although, as for the writer, with the caveat that I don't know when that interview took place, he considers this film the biggest embarrassment of his career. But Gemini Man, Terminator Dark Fate, they're all in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would definitely recommend checking the date on that, because those are way worse, or maybe he's just more proud of them. As for why this was regarded as a success, my best guess is this was before films needed to make like twice their budget to be considered successful, so maybe that was it, or who knows, maybe that was just officials saying that to save face or whatnot.
Well, I mean, Fox really needed a hit in 1997, because in terms of their big budget blockbusters, the same year this came out, Speed 2 came out as well. Yeah, but then again, 1997 was a pretty shit year all round, wasn't it? With few exceptions.
It's interesting. This one got mixed reviews. Dante's Picks got outright negative reviews, but Dante's Peak technically made more since it got
not a lot,
million.
but it was still a bomb, you know. If anything, out of the whole genre around this time, Deep Impact actually was a commercial success because its budget was 80 million and it did almost 350.
Pierce Brosnan did it? Huh.
Pierce Brosnan was in Dante's Peak. Again, Dweebs, whatever next time there is, I will show you to you as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll get there eventually. But, really bizarre movie. Kind of fits the general vibe of films around this time. Alright, that's it.
Deji.
That certainly was a movie.
Aren't you glad that the volcano eruption stopped racism?
Yeah. We did it, guys. We stopped segregation. Just like that one Pepsi commercial.
Don't you see, guys? That lava burned down those barriers.
God, I guess that's what they were trying to say.
Honestly, it's just there's a lot of contrived stuff that happens that made me go, this doesn't work. That's not how a volcano works, but more of how people are about die or nearly about to die. It's just like, this is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it. This wasn't it, Chief. I don't know what the message they were trying to do. It's like, well, everyone's the same. It doesn't matter what their ethnicity. But why have it in the form of a disaster volcano movie?
Because they're cowards. Like, I'm sorry, here's the main problem. If you want to do this sort of message, you can't just have it show up, then shoot away, then show up, then shoot it away whenever it's convenient for you. Especially since it's Tommy, a kid who has really had nothing to do with this whole scenario, suddenly giving us the grand line of, they all look the same.
Yeah. Again, that's the thing. Remember, it was also used for the one scene before where they were playing rock, paper, scissors. And it's like, I play lava. What does it mean that? The kid is blatantly used for cheap, blatant messaging, which I guess it was the style at the time, to quote The Simpsons. But my god, it has aged worse than, a yogurt container in the middle of a lava flow. Alright then, Java.
Wow, this is kind of spectacular in how ridiculous it gets. I could only recommend this to, like, the most diehard of disaster film enthusiasts, essentially, since... Okay, I will say this. Outside of the one watch, this movie doesn't really have much going for it. It's amazing to see how hokey it gets, but... Man, looking back at it, it follows the disaster film formula to a T with nothing really that much new to bring to the table. Don't get me wrong, it's interesting to see how a volcano is fought and all that, but, well, because it's a volcano, it's not like we can actively fight it, essentially. Now, it certainly does do a good job of showcasing the destruction that it can cause, essentially. But aside from that, the actual writing is just utter crap. Like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna say it. They added in the Rodney King stuff just to get an applause, basically. Like, it really feels like that line, they all look the same at the end, is meant to get a standing ovation as the audience cheers with tears in their eyes in showcasing how this disaster movie gets it. Of course.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
I get the feeling, though, that even back then, people weren't falling for it, since, again, box office is not too much to write home about given its budget. Again, whether or not they considered this a success is one thing, but... no! The fact that it didn't even get a sequel or much other merchandising kind of implies that this was kind of it. But regardless of that, though, it's not like anyone really talks about this movie. Like, I'll be honest, most of us had no idea this movie was even a thing until Tio told us.
Yeah, I remember, I only know it because it was broadcast a lot on TV when I was able to catch it up.
Like, now, content creators, they'll bring up real bad disaster movies like, 2012 or... almost just about any Roland Emmerich film.
Yeah, because there's a big name attached to that, Drova, mostly.
The thing is like, this volcano movie doesn't really even have a legacy outside of being, I guess, the disaster movie that covers volcanoes, since, I'll be fair, I don't think a lot of disaster movies cover volcanoes, at least in my
that's what the movie we will do another time, Dante's Peak, was literally rivaling from. It is another occasion of a volcano rising out of nowhere.
Which is just hilarious that these two movies came so close to each other. Like, it feels like it's either the mother of all coincidences or it was an intentional rivalry, essentially. Though, can you imagine if the meta of disaster movies culminated in make volcano movies? Those make the biggest box offices. But I digress. The CGI effects... Look, I get why they used them. They were really hip for the time. Again, I feel like the 90s was arguably the best balance of some of the best practical effects we could get along with CGI. This is not it. I get why they have to use it a lot, and I'm guessing they felt very proud of it back in the day, but Nah, the lava tends to look like a cartoon at times. In fact, this movie sometimes has the logic of a cartoon at times. I'm gonna be fair, convention schmugvention is a typical trope you see in movies pertaining to lava, so if we spent the whole film complaining about that, our critiques would go all the way to the moon, essentially. But no, it's just how hokey the writing and logic can get. Now, Kelly, I'm fine with her, honestly. I get that she was scared, didn't want to be separated from her dad, but she seems to handle things relatively fine. No. My issue is specifically with Tommy. Like, holy cow. That boy has no self-preservation, and like Tio said, it's just a plot device meant to go for the ahs, the oohs, and of course, like I said, the big clap at the end with the showing that, we don't have to fight each other. We all look the same in the ashes of the lava. And, that's funny that might be the main thing people even remember this movie for is the hokey stilting of politics and whatnot. Like I said, politics are not an inherent no-go-to. You can work with them smart and wisely. This movie didn't. Plain and simple. So, yeah. I can't call this movie good. I can call it a popcorn flick, though. Like, if you really, really, really turn your brain off, you can have a go with some of the action and laugh at a lot of the stupidity. Otherwise, this movie is absolutely worth skipping. Tio, close us out with your final thoughts.
This movie to me is pretty much on the same level as Twister, believe it or not. Possibly for that last sentence that you said, Jova, because as a movie on its own, objectively, it's just very dumb. Making a lot of stupid decisions, not understanding what tone is, constantly manipulating the audience emotionally about what, is important and what not, and trying to pass off Tommy Lee Jones as an action hero star, which I'm sorry, he's not. Sure, these days you can say, well, he's old, but even back then, he really wasn't. There's a reason why in the first Man in Black, he was mostly there to be the mentor and occasionally just shooting in a stationary position. He's not action hero material, and this movie is a testament to that. But other than that, it's one of those primary cases of enjoyable if you turn your brain off, but that's where instead the political commentary, quote unquote, hits you in the face with intensity, of the volcano lava flow. Because why would you even do that? This is the textbook's definition of putting politics in a product where it doesn't belong, because it really feels superfluous and very cheap and superficial in how it's handled. Again, I'm not the most qualified person to talk about it, but even I can see that, the shallowness of how the themes in the post-Rodney King trial are handled. It's borderline comedic if it wasn't just very, very sad. But other than that, there's also the fucking child character, Tommy, who instead is used just for, more cheap emotional manipulation by stating, very obvious things so that the audience can say, yeah, that's how it is. And it's dumb. I'm sorry, it's just dumb. We're not infuriating at that. Then we have weird parts like that. I forgot the name. The guy that basically jumps into the lava with the guy on his back because he could not toss him over or, perform the jump himself properly, but has the time to make the thumbs up gesture because Terminator 2, I guess. It's just
like that really feels like the only reason to do it specifically that way.
That being said, there are parts of this movie that I genuinely do like Don Cheadle coordinating things from the room along with the others, and Tommy Jones coming up properly with the plans to actually, divert the lava flows. As impractical as they may sound, they seem to be, genius enough. The geologist character, I argue, unfortunately was a bit superfluous. She's just there to instill a bunch of scientific terms that the audience technically should know, already, but just to be sure they're told, and makes a couple of discovery, but a couple of times she's just a bit intrusive and can comes off as a bit obnoxious, unfortunately. Again, the doctor that accompanies Tommy Lee Jones's character's daughter, and then handles the patient is a much better female character for this movie, if you ask me. So it's not even a case of the movie doesn't know how to handle woman. It's just that the character is just written poorly. There's that.
And hey, Jay even gets to show that asshole guy who wanted a building for them, boss, because he's shocked that she's helping.
It's the classic stupid shit of, oh, you shouldn't prioritize your work over me, over my love, and then she's literally saving someone's life on the table. The 90s were
Like,
chock
he
full.
literally
The
says-
90s were chock full of this cliche too, by the way. Unfortunately.
The thing is, though, they make him that asshole-ish, yet don't give him any comeuppance. He just sashays away from the film.
That's because, remember, Jova, this movie is, very intent on showcasing that despite their flaws, human beings should stick together, and given a second chance. Because, remember, that's what happens in the subplot of the cop and the African American community, despite the fact that, by all accounts, it should not be something that you can just wash your hands in the rain,
The only problem is that Norman literally doesn't show up after that. It's like it's not even about
from
a
the
redeeming.
movie. A couple of characters just drop from the movie altogether. If you can, then there's Keith David, who's just rolling with the punches, and you can definitely tell. But again, he's used to that.
Yeah, like, okay, I don't know if he was super big, but I do get the feeling that he was included because he was hot stuff at
Some
the time.
star power,
Still
yes.
is.
So yeah, at the end of the day, this is a very confusing movie, and at the end, and objectively still bad. But there's a part of me that still enjoy this on a so bad it's so good kind of level. When it comes to disaster movies, this is one of those that I tend to potentially rewatch a bit. And the fact that now Disney owns it is just the cherry on top. Like, the only reason why I only limit myself on the Kingdom Hearts joke for this is because there's virtually no real enemy. The only close thing that you can say is maybe, oh, it was an Organization 13 member, or the Master these days, who actually prompted the volcano to show up, and now you have to fight lava-based Heartless, I guess, but otherwise it's not really that fertile of a soil to, do something about. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this. I don't know when, but eventually tune in for when we'll see the companion rival movie for this Dante Speak. So see you for that.
See ya.